You create your quartet Vector, and I have seen you guys playing not only like famous big pieces like I will not ask you Aimez-vous Brahms because obviously but you also play not so often play music, right? Like have you contemporary music in your repertoire?
Yes, of course. We did something very cool. There's a composer from East Germany, or the former East Germany, Siegfried Matus, and we premiered his quartet in Lucerne about 4 or 5 years ago. It's called, Schubert's quartet is Death and the Maiden. And he wrote a poem which is called Maiden and Death, which was kind of an inversion of his own idea of Schubert. Yeah. I find his music very humorous. It's like a bit like Poulenc. It has a lot of jazzy and circus-like accents here and there, and he's a very humble and very funny man. Also, we had quite a few composers have sent us their works. At the moment, we are playing Fabian Müller, who is quite an established composer from Zurich, and it was our Taiwan tour was centered around Fabian Müller's second quartet. Yeah. He has 6 quartets and the Beethoven Opus 135. But next year we plan to do all the 6 quartets of Fabian Müller paired up with the late Beethoven. So this is kind of an interesting. He's a very colorful composer with a lot of local flair. One can hear Alp horns, one can hear chickens in his music, which I find. Music like Ives, in a way, what is music but well-organized noise? Not noise, but in Ives, the symphonies, one can hear also children whistling, and you can hear some cows mooing, and it makes one question what one considers as music, but Fabian Müller is a wonderful composer, very colorful and extremely humorous, which I find humor is something that I really, truly enjoy.
Yeah. It's important, and actually, in music we just hear it. I think every composer has this small moments when you see how he's laughing actually.
Of course, and some of them laugh kind of boringly, and others laugh. Look at Poulenc's music, or if you wish, Stravinsky's or Beethoven's. It's a kind of a Brahms laughs big with a big round belly, but I always like how Prokofiev laughs. Prokofiev laughs like a maniac, and this I find. Really catchy.
Yeah. I have 2 questions. I hope we have time. I don't know what time is now. Denitza, you playing now a lot of time in orchestra. How you can describe what quality musicians need to have for feeling good in the orchestra? Because it's a collective, right? It's a community. Yeah. And musicians, we used to have our own voice view, but here it's something different because it's like a group. It's like whole together. And how it be to be in orchestra? What is important to remember? I think what you told about humbleness, I think is important, right? Also, but to not just sleep somewhere, to keep. Can you tell something about it?
Well, I think it has to do with how much one loves music. Because if you truly love music, there are times when you have a shitty conductor or a shitty soloist, or let's say, I'm speaking very frankly, but I don't want to dress it up nicely. I can make it sound more diplomatic, but I don't think it's necessary. Often there are 70, 80 people. Out of these 80 people, perhaps 10 are your friends. Maybe some of the others don't like you. Often you have to sit next to a person who doesn't like you and you don't like them. But I think this is truly a school. That's why we go to school, so we can learn to work and live with people that are not always our first choice. And being in an orchestra, in a big collective, I think truly the only way to keep fresh is to have something else, to not only play in orchestra, either to teach or to have chamber group or to play solo. I do all 3. I don't teach as much as I would like, but I do play a lot of chamber music and a lot of solo, and this to me is very necessary to remember my own voice and to enjoy it without hindrance, to not have to fit into somebody else's idea, to have my own, yeah? So I believe it's a very good thing to have a balance between being a member of an orchestra and having your own solo or chamber music career. Yeah. Second thing is, to this day, even if I don't like the conductor or the soloist, music itself, it's so great. Sometimes you're sitting on your chair and you let it wash over you, and even if the interpretation is bad or we're not perfectly together or the conductor bugs you, or music is greater than us all. And this perhaps is not humbleness. It's simply, it's just the order of things, you know? The cosmic dust is everywhere. We're just here. But it's the same. If one thinks of music first and individuality second, then one is happy. One has to find a way to transcend this pettiness that is often... It's often the case in any group of people. I mean, a group of actors or a group of dancers, I'm sure they got their petty disagreements and stuff, like in any other group. I think really if you keep the perspective that music is something great and you enjoy it, sometimes you can just listen to it and abstract yourself from the rest. And the other one is, I believe it's also very important to have a positive attitude and to never take for granted the fact that you're on stage. I mean, I play one of the best stages in Europe. KKL is so beautiful. I have never taken it for granted, because every time when you're on stage, it is something special. And one should not forget that. I know it sounds prosaic, and we play so many concerts and we rehearse there every week, and it's easy to get mundane, you know, but it shouldn't be. If you get mundane, you get old and you get bad. And this is something that one should avoid. I mean, it's not a pleasant feeling.
Yeah, because I think for music, it's important to have fresh eye and fresh ear and feeling, right?
Always. And to not be so judgmental, because sometimes one hears something that has never been done before, like Patricia Kupachinskaya. She's extremely, in that way, very polarized. And I've heard her play amazingly well, and I've heard other times where I thought, my God, what she's doing. But I think the idea is to be fearless, to not be afraid to hear something that is different and to not necessarily judge it. And maybe it's okay to say, I don't know how it was, but it was interesting. And somehow musicians often have this big ego, and we always have to give our big opinion about something. But frankly, sometimes saying I don't know and simply listening to it is maybe enough, you know. And this is something we can all learn to do a bit more, to listen more and to judge less. That's what I think.
I'd say the ideal is not judge at all, actually, just...
Yeah, but it's not, I don't know if it's possible, because we are human beings and we are not really objective. I mean, one strives for objectivity, but I don't believe it's possible to achieve 100% objectivity as long as you are an individual. Right. But one can try to agree.
Going forward.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And last question, what time is it now, Denitza? You have a time or something? I don't know.
It is 5:45.
Aha. Oh, it's fine. So I have time.
You see that.
Yeah. The last question, we'll see. But I wanted, because it's now like some long period, it seems like years, I think. We know each other a bit like from social networking, etc. And what I feel about you strongly, because you are deeply engaged in your own life activities, right? Your work, music, but also your personality. You like to. You're not somebody who hides himself. Like, please don't touch me. You go towards the people, and also I think you are a great mother. And you very
I love my daughter, so I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know about being a great mother. I think it's just loving them is enough, you know.
I think this is to be a great mother, to be loving one.
You think? I don't know. I think one learns sometimes I think I should have taught them different things or differently, but you know, one learns as one does. Being a mother is something you cannot really read books about it. I honestly think that children teach us more than we teach them. But this is it's also very humbling.
Sure. But what I wanted to say, because often people have no time and have not a lot of time to take care about home, etc. But you seems to do house cleaning and the cakes and I don't know.
Only during Corona time. I'm horrible. I learned to bake now. I'm 47, so let's not exaggerate. My abilities are very humble. Sorry.
Okay. But I know that your kids, well, they are really great, fantastic. I think you will be okay, right with me. But I see that they're doing music also, right? Your son doing piano and also play violin. And it seems like you will feel proud about them. So what does mean for you that they're doing music? How much is important? Do you see them like continue in this way, or is just I don't know?
It's hard to say. I think Laura, my daughter, she likes stage. She likes being on stage. I don't think she's fascinated by the violin. She's not fascinated by its sound, by its colors. She likes music more to move. She uses music more as a basis for movement. I believe she's more of a dancer than a violinist. She does both ballet and violin, but I think she will be happy to be a member of a theater, often musical theater where one can sing or dance on stage and act, more so than violin. I wanted her to learn not to become a violinist, but just to learn to read music and to appreciate the discipline it takes, that one has to devote 10-15 minutes of every day by doing an exercise in order to get better. And I think it's kind of it is a new language. And I think she was not always so optimistic. She didn't like it when she was small, but now she does. And partially she likes because now we can play together, duets, small things. But I believe that that's part of connection with your child is also through music. And it is difficult to be a musician and a mother. I realized about myself, I cannot teach them. I don't have the patience, and they see in me perhaps not an enemy, but somebody who could do it better. Thus, they reject often my advice. But I've learned to step away and to let the teachers do the work. And I think that is also liberating for a mother to know that someone else can teach them much better than you can, and you only need to support. Anton plays piano well and he enjoys it, but he likes mathematics more. He does nuclear physics. And I think to him, piano will always be a meditation. You know how I swim? I swim because during that moment, it's only the water in my head. It's in my head, it's in my eyes, so it fills me with something far from myself. I believe for him, music is what swimming is to me. So it's a kind of a personal meditation, and he will always enjoy it. I don't want him, and he doesn't want to be a professional pianist. And he doesn't have the time, he doesn't put the effort, but he enjoys playing. And at the end, when you can come home and play yourself some Bach or some Chopin, just for yourself or for your lover or for your friend or for your neighbor, I think it's a great thing.
Absolutely.
So I don't wait for them. I don't ask them. In a way, I'll be happy if they find their niche in whatever respect. Laura is still small. It's hard to know, but I think theater is really her thing, and Anton is good with math and teaching. He likes to teach, which is also a great thing. I'm not, and you know what you said, I'm not really, I like to read. For me, reading and, well, drinking beer, of course, but reading is very important. And I think that one can always find time. And it's not about being busy, but it's about doing things that make you happy. So being a good mother is much the same. I mean, there are times when it's very hard. It was hard when they were small and I had no help, as you know. But then they grew, and somehow I think one has to learn to multitask. That's one thing, and it's easier for women than for men to do so, but it's still a kind of adjustment. I mean, especially if you're used to centering on yourself and on your violin playing, on your career, and suddenly you can't center on it at all. But in a strange way, it makes you better, because one fears the violin less. Once you have children, nothing else is as scary. That's all I'm going to say. So,
I see. Interesting. And maybe the very last question. Like you told at the beginning, that you feel home when you are in Bulgaria, when you are in the States, I mentioned in Switzerland too. What is your connection with Bulgaria now? I know you go there to with concerts with your quartetto, but how intensive is your connection with Bulgaria?
I don't know, I often ask myself how Bulgarian am I? And the truth is that I'm not sure, because the language certainly is my mother tongue. I appreciate and I enjoy the colors of the language. However, I enjoy English no less. I mean, I read mostly in English these days. To me, it's very important. The hues of the words is what make them powerful. It's important. But I think home is never home once you leave it. It is different. It is still my home, but it's the home of my old self, not of me today. It is a complicated relationship. I have to say that I love my family, who is still in Bulgaria, and when I go back, I see my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins. My grandma is no longer there, and my grandpa, they were my greatest love. So to me, there is a great hole. It's like you go back and there's this meteorite has struck, and there is a humongous hole, and nothing can fill. On the other hand, the country is developed the same way as people do. So Bulgaria today is not Bulgaria that I remember when I left, which was in long time ago. It was in 1991. So in some ways, I am a stranger in my own country, but I have accepted that as well. I feel at home in Lucerne. I feel at home, in Switzerland in general, and I would say in the US and in Bulgaria, all three. And the funny thing is, I adapt like a chameleon. When I go somewhere, I change my color without being aware. I don't know. I think I bring more Americanisms. When I go to Bulgaria, I feel more American, and when I'm in Switzerland, I feel more Bulgarian. So in a way, it is very fluid, and it's not very, but I cannot answer that. I think some of my most sacred memories are connected to Bulgarian poetry and to Bulgarian music, especially folk music, but who we are at the end is not where we came from. I think it is a mixture. It's like we are all a cocktail. Absolutely. There is no pure whiskey, and I think for one love the steering of borders. That there are no real borders anymore between what we were and what we are. I think that kind of smearing of colors is quite beautiful. Absolutely. I don't mind it at all.
I understand you perfectly, because I feel the same. It's now like 18 years I don't live anymore in Sweden. So people I knew there, many of them gone already or moved in another countries, and in a home, my mom now she's living in another home, not that I knew when I was there. So
exactly.
Yeah, but still it's home, but it's more like it's so many new things, new people. So sometimes I don't recognize the streets actually, because it's completely buildings disappeared, also like people, and actually so but I think we can still reconnect and find some
but we always will, just that we have roots that grow in three different soils. So in that way we are like the universal tree, and I believe that having too many roots is only to be commended. Better too many than, or one can also argue that if you have too many roots you have none at all. But it's not so bad also, because it means you're free and you can float up.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I envy some of my friends who have stayed in Bulgaria their whole lives, lived there, went to school there, married there, they had their children there. I look at them and I do wonder. There are times when I wonder, would I have been very different had I done that, had I stayed, had I not traveled, had I not married a Swiss man whom I met in Cleveland, had I not have four languages in my home.
Sure.
I don't know. It's a parallel universe of what if, and the ifs. I don't even, but I do consider myself Bulgarian and American and Swiss, and in general human first and nation after. But it is a complicated relationship that we have with the home we have left. We change, the home changes, people around you change, and at the end sometimes we change in the same direction. We grow together, and other times we grow apart.
Sure.
And this one has to also accept. Sometimes I had close friends that I'm not friends with them anymore.
I understand.
Life is how it is. One has to accept it. Maybe not not like it always, but accept it.
Yeah, so it's the best way anyway, because what can you do otherwise? Or you will just have frustration, or
yeah, exactly. Or you feel miserable wherever you are because you bring your loneliness with you. You know, one can be very lonely in New York and very happy in a little Abnachstadt, you know, a little village here. It's not about where you are. It's who you are with, and that's it. Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, and actually it's so restrictive to thinking like about nationalities, or I'm from there. People asking me where you were born. I think okay. We have some, I don't know, genes, DNA, etc. But that's the base. Okay, but after we living, we have evolution, we changing, we 7 years we are completely changed in our body. So
of course,
what we can say? I mean, I am Saida, you are Denitza, and this is who we are. So.
That's exactly. I think that we are more than a country, you know. But we do carry a lot of it inside. But somehow, I always think of it, you know. I always think of it as that we are fertile ground. One has to be able to. You can grow whatever people seed. And you know, I also think often of something. It's a Native American. I think it's a fairy tale of sorts. You know, they say that in every person there are two wolves, a good one and an evil one. And the question is which wolf would grow, and the one that you feed most. So if you feed the evil one, he would grow. If you feed the good one, he would. So it's up to you really which one. I like that as an idiom because I find that I think who we are is who we choose to grow, what we choose to grow inside. And sometimes one can blame it on many things. I mean, there are many, you know, you've had no less traumatic experiences than I. We were often also hungry when I was small. We didn't have much money. We didn't travel. But I think one can choose to not grow that seed. So you don't feel like the world owes you something or you are misunderstood or you should be. I think it is very important which seeds we plant to grow.
I feel the same, and it's Denitza, thank you very much. It was really so beautiful to talk with you. I was sure it's going to be a fantastic talk. Thank you very much. I wish you also fantastic summertime, and hopefully soon concert live back.
Finally.
With lot of
let's go together. We can maybe play together. What say you?
Yes, I am happy, really. It will be gorgeous. Thank you very much.
I'm sure. Thank you. Bye, babe.
Bye. Stop. Wait, I will try to go.
How do I get off?
You just go, and I will try to stop it. Let's try to do it.
Okay, I'll press the cross thingy here, okay?
Yeah, you...
Okay.
So let's get to it. So this is the end of our talk with fantastic Denitza, Kostova Kucera, one of first violin of Lutheran Symphonic Orchestra, a member of Vector Quatuor, and hopefully I will be able to cut it now